Hello my dear students, welcome back to the new topic of an induction motor that is based on the rotor equivalent circuit of an induction motor. So let us start our today's discussion with the topic of rotor equivalent circuit of an induction motor. Okay. So my dear students, in case of any induction motor, there are two types of conditions are always exist. First type of condition is called a standstill conditions, and another type of condition is called a running conditions. Okay. At standstill conditions, the rotor speed is not rotate. The rotor is not rotate at any RPM. So that type of condition is called a standstill conditions. In that condition, rotor speed is always the rotor speed values is always zero. The value of the rotor speed is always zero in case of standstill conditions. So if rotor speed is zero, then what about the value of the slip? We know the expressions of the slip. The expression of the slip is the ratio of the ns minus nr to the ns. When we put the value of the rotor speed equals to 0 in the expressions of the slip, then the ns and then ns in numerator and ns in denominator both will cancel out and slip becomes 1. In similar manner, we have know the expressions of the rotor frequency. What is the expressions of the rotor frequency of an induction motor? The rotor frequency expression is equals to the S into F, and rotor frequency always be the function of the slip, right? So again here, when S is 1, then rotor frequency is always equals to the stator frequency. Here stator frequency is represented by F, right? Now the expressions of the rotor induced EMF of an induction motor is 4.44 F into N2 phi m kW2. Here E2 is represented the rotor induced EMF, F is represented rotor frequency. The rotor frequency is in case of the standstill condition, the value of the rotor frequency is always be the value of the stator frequency. That's why the F is here in the expressions of the rotor induced EMF. N2 is called the number of turns of the rotor winding, and phi m is called the maximum flux, and kW is called the winding factor, right? Since the winding orientations in induction machine is almost similar to synchronous machines, so that's why the expressions of the induced EMF can be directly taken from synchronous machines, right? Now here kW2 is winding factor of rotor that have been studied in synchronous machines. So here there is no need to go to detailed analysis of the analysis about the winding factor of the rotor, right? Now next, now let us talk about the running conditions of an induction motor. Running condition means what? When rotor is rotate at any RPM, that means the induction motor is at running conditions. So in case of running condition, rotor speed is greater than 0. And what about the slip? Slip is always, in case of an induction motor, slip is always varies from 0 to 1. So that's why the slip that's why here the slip is shown is less than 1. If slip is less than 1, that means the rotor frequency SF is also shown less than F, right? Now E2 dash represented the rotor induced EMF of the running condition. So that's why here we are taking the rotor frequency is SF, because in case of an induction motor, the rotor frequency is scaled by a factor of S, right? Now when we are taking the S common from the remaining expressions, so the E2 dash becomes S into E2. Okay. Now when the motor is running at a slip S, the induced EMF in rotor winding is scaled by a factor of S as compared to the standstill conditions. Now let us talk about the leakage reactance. We have already know the expressions of the leakage reactance, but here we are talking about the rotor side of an induction motor. So here leakage reactance is represented by X2, and in case of a standstill X2, the expressions of the leakage reactance in case of any AC machines, the expressions of the leakage reactance is always equals to the 2 pi f into L2. But in case of at the standstill conditions, the slip is 1, so that's why in case of a standstill conditions, F is not scaled by a factor of S. But in case of running condition, slip is not 1, slip is always varies from 0 to 1. That's why in case of running condition, leakage reactance or rotor frequency is scaled by a factor of S, right? Now here again we are taking the S common from the remaining expressions, then X2 dash becomes S into X2. Is it clear? Okay. Now this is the very important point regarding the rotor equivalent circuit. Under running condition, the rotor frequency is scaled by a factor of S, due to which all the parameters that are directly proportional to frequency as EMF and reactance also scaled by a factor of S. Always these point, always remember this, always keep this point in your mind. In case of a running condition, rotor frequency is scaled by a factor of S. In similar manner, EMF and reactance also scaled by a factor of S, right? In case of a resistance, there is no role of frequency, so that's why we considered the resistance to be independent of the frequency. Hence, in case of the standstill condition and running condition, in both the case rotor resistance remain same. Now let us talk about the rotor impedance. The expressions of the rotor impedance is what? Z2 equals to R2 plus JX2, which is the expressions of the rotor impedance of the standstill conditions of the induction motor. And when we are talking about the case of the running conditions, then this leakage reactance is scaled by a factor of S in case of running conditions. So this is the complex form of the running conditions of the rotor impedance, and this is the polar form of the rotor impedance, right? Square root of the R2 square plus S into X2 whole square represented the magnitude of the rotor impedance, and tan inverse of S into X2 upon R2 represented the phasor angle of the rotor impedance. This is the phasor angle of the rotor impedance. Now, since the rotor conductors are always short circuited, the rotor circuited only contain induced EMF, rotor resistance, leakage reactance. So again, the rotor current should be the value of the ratio of the E2 to the square root of the R2 square plus X2 square in case of standstill conditions, and in case of the running conditions, this induced EMF is scaled by a factor of S. This leakage reactance is scaled by a factor of S, and when slip is taken common from numerator and denominator, then EMF and reactance become independent of the slip, and the rotor resistance becomes a function of slip, right? Here the rotor resistance becomes a function of slip. Now this is the schematic diagram of the circuit diagram of the standstill conditions of the induction motor. Here induced EMF E2 is induced EMF is represented by E2 leakage reactance, and this is called the rotor current. In case of standstill conditions, there is no role of slip. That's why E2 and X2 is not scaled by a factor of S. But in case of the running conditions, induced EMF and leakage reactance is scaled by a factor of S. And this diagram, this can be drawn. This diagram can be drawn like this. Okay. So in this case, the rotor resistance becomes a function of slip S. Now resistance is shown as a variable in equivalent circuit because as the speed of the motor varies, the slip also varies, by which the effective rotor resistance changes. Now let us talk about the per phase power input from stator to rotor. Here first of all we will try to understand what is called air gap power. Air gap power is represented by PAG here. Whatever the power is flowing from stator to rotor passes through the air gap. Such power is called as air gap power. So whatever the power will come out to be at the rotor end, that the expressions of that power is called the air gap power, and the expressions of the air gap power is E2 into I2 dash into cos theta 2. Now when we put the value of the rotor current of an running conditions and power factor, then air gap power becomes the value of I2 square into R2 by S. Now the air gap power can be computed as the real power input to the rotor circuit, which means the real power dissipated across the resistance R2 by S. Air gap means whatever the power is dissipated across the resistance R2 by S, that is also called the air gap power. Okay, whatever the power is dissipated across the resistance R2 by S, that is also called the air gap power. And whatever the power is dissipated and is lost across the rotor resistance R2, that type of power on that type of power loss is called a rotor copper loss. So the expressions of the rotor copper loss is I2 dash square into R2. Right. Now we know the expressions of the air gap power. We know the expressions of the air gap power is the power dissipated across the resistance R2 by S. So in case of the expressions of the air gap power, numerator shown the copper loss. So that means the air gap power is also equals to the ratio of the copper loss power, rotor copper loss to the slip, and this air gap power is greater than copper loss power. Why? Because slip is less than 1. When slip is here slip is shown in the denominator of the expressions of the air gap. So when slip is less than 1, then it means that the air gap is automatically is greater than the rotor copper loss. Right. So the rotor copper loss, so the another expressions of the rotor copper loss is the S into PAG. Right. And when we are subtracting the rotor copper loss, from the air gap power, then it will give the value of the mechanical power developed. So in mathematically, the mechanical power developed is represented by PM, which is equals to the air gap power PAG into whole into in the bracket 1 minus S. Right. Now the air gap power air gap power means what? The power is dissipated across the resistance R2 by S. That is called air gap power. And whatever the power is dissipated across the rotor resistance R2, that is also called electrical power. But mechanical power, in case of mechanical power, how can be predict that type of power is called a mechanical power when we are subtracting the real power, when we are subtracting the losses from the real power, then it will give the mechanical power. So here when we are subtracting the rotor copper losses from the air gap power, means real power, then it will give the mechanical power. Right. Now the expressions of the developed torque is the ratio of the developed power to the speed. Here rotor speed is taken. Which type of speed is taken in the denominator of the developed torque? Generally we always take in the rotor speed in case of developed torque, and developed power means mechanically power, and mechanical power expressions is 1 minus S into PAG. Now when we put the value of the rotor speed in terms of synchronous speed, then this developed power becomes the value of air gap power by synchronous speed. Now the developed torque can be calculated by two methods, either by dividing the mechanical developed power by rotor speed, or by dividing the air gap power by synchronous speed. Right. Now while calculating the torque, we always make use of the total three-phase power and not the per phase power, because in case of an induction motor, three-phase induction motor, we calculate the power, we can calculate the power per phase, but we cannot calculate the per phase torque. We always calculate the total torque of an induction motor. So that's why we have to use the total 3-phase power and not the per phase power, right? Now the shaft power is different from the mechanical power when friction and windage losses is subtracting from the mechanical power, then it will give the power value of the shaft power. Okay, so friction and windage losses occur in mechanical domain, due to which the power going from electrical to mechanical domain is not equal to power output at the shaft of the machines, right? So this is the expressions of the shaft torque. Shaft torque is also called a load torque. So the torque reaching the load at the shaft of the machine is not the developed torque but shaft torque, right? And this is the expressions of the loss torque. And what is called loss torque? The torque corresponding to friction and windage losses is also called as loss torque. Okay, T developed minus T shaft. So my dear students, this is all about the detailed analysis of the rotor equivalent circuit. In case of a standstill conditions, or in case of a running conditions, we also seen that the expressions of the developed power, air gap power, rotor copper losses, also seen the circuit diagram of the rotor equivalent circuit diagram of the running standstill conditions of an induction motor and running conditions of an induction motor. So this is all about the rotor equivalent circuit of an induction motor. In next lecture we will start our discussion with the stator equivalent circuit diagram. Okay.